What's up? It's your boy Mr. T Money 1993, back with another vid. It's a new week, week two. We got the Bills. Um, I don't really know of any Bills fans besides BuffaloHeroes. He's been talking some craziness, and I don't know. That's about the only one I know. I think somebody on D Nasty's channel is. But that whole who's making whose video and who likes what team confused me, so I'm not gonna get at that channel like that. BuffaloHeroes, you sound real confident, real confident, real confident, which is nothing wrong with that. Um, but just some of the stuff you talking just sounded a little bit off to me. Sounded a little bit off. You was talking about how good y'all defense was. Where? What? Was you watching the same? I mean, was you watching the game? Y'all gave up over 100 yards to Shane Vereen or whatever his name is, the pass running back. He was getting what, like 7, 8 yards a carry. Ridley wasn't doing that. He wasn't putting up that many yards on y'all, but he still was averaging like 5 yards a carry. Y'all gave up like 10 catches, over 100 yards to Danny Amendola. Y'all gave up like 7 catches to Edelman, who, I mean, he used to be a pretty good receiver. Tom Brady used to pass him the ball, but last year he didn't really get the ball because of Hernandez and Gronkowski. Y'all gave up like 7 catches to him, and I just don't understand what about that defensive performance was good. I think y'all picked Tom Brady once, but he threw for what, like 2 touchdowns. So I just don't understand what about that says that's a good performance defensively. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Maybe you can clarify that. And I know you was talking about how your team was on the field that much, but that's still no excuse. You talked about how your running game is better than ours. I don't understand that. Fred Jackson, who's y'all backup running back, only had 60. He had like 60-something yards, and CJ Spiller, who's supposed to be y'all beast back, had like 40 yards. I don't see y'all being able to run the ball on us. Sorry. I mean, I like CJ Spiller. He went to Clemson, saw him a lot. I just don't see him having that kind of success. Fred Jackson might end up actually probably running for more yards than CJ Spiller. That's just my take. But I don't see either having any success like that. If you watch our game with Seattle, or even if you look at the stats, we held Marshawn Lynch to 43 yards. And there's no way that I think that Fred Jackson, CJ Spiller is on Marshawn Lynch. I don't. That's me. Marshawn was what, like 3rd in the league in rushing? So I just don't see it. I mean, we held Marshawn 43 yards rushing. Russell was scrambling, but he wasn't necessarily picking up rushing yards. So I just don't see y'all having a lot of success running the ball. You talked about our receiving core, saying that all we got is Smith and Greg Olsen. Last week we did, but I mean, you said like Seattle's missing 4 guys in their secondary. That's not true. Or 2 guys or 3 guys. The only one they was missing was Brandon Browner. Richard Sherman played. Earl Thomas played. Can't remember if Chancellor was in there, but the only one that I remember them missing was Brandon Browner, who yes is a good corner, but I mean Seattle's pretty deep on defense. And you said Cam's a turnover machine. You do realize he threw for less picks than Drew Brees, who's in our division. He threw less picks than Matt Ryan, who's in our division. And he might have I think he threw less than Josh Freeman too. I think Matt Ryan might be the only one maybe in the NFC South who threw for less. But I don't even think that either. Maybe Cam's rookie year he threw more picks, but last year he didn't throw that many. He threw like 11 maybe. And this year he didn't turn over the ball the first game, which I like. I feel like Cam doesn't have to put up 400 350 yards for us to win. I feel like he has to take care of the ball and make plays when it's time to. D'Angelo had success running the ball against Seattle, and y'all run defense is not on Seattle's level. Y'all pass defense is not on Seattle's level. And you talked about how good. You tried to compare Seattle and the Patriots. That's two totally different teams. Two totally different teams. The past identity for since Tom Brady's been their quarterback is a high-powered offense, which they don't even have that this year. The receiving core is pretty. The receivers and tight ends not as good as it has been. Which y'all couldn't stop Danny Amendola, and y'all couldn't stop Edelman. So I don't know what y'all would have done with Gronk and Hernandez. So receiving core, it's a little bit. Our receiving core is a little bit banged up. Dominique Hickson didn't play last week. Ted again played, but he only had a couple catches, and Armani wasn't getting the game, and Brandon LaFell wasn't getting the game. Brandon LaFell wasn't really doing nothing, which I feel like that's going to change against y'all. Bills, do y'all have some good defense players? Yeah, y'all have a couple. Not really starting Mario Williams like that. And I feel like we'll be able to run the ball on y'all. I feel like Smitty should have a good game against y'all. I feel like with Amendola and Edelman, that's a lot of quick passes, a lot of boom. Which if y'all let Ted Ginn catch a lot of quick passes, he can take one to the house. That speed, you put him out in the open field, you don't wrap up one-on-one, it can be a touchdown anytime he touches the ball. Running the ball, I feel like we'll be able to run the ball on y'all, same way the Patriots did. As far as on defense, you was trying to, our secondary, out of our whole defense, yes, our secondary is our weakest part. But is it totally horrible? No. Russell threw for 300 yards, but most of it was more later in the game when we were tired. And we only gave up one offensive touchdown to them, and that was at the end of the game. I feel like E.J. Manuel's going to be doing a lot of running. Now, do I like E.J. Manuel? I liked him at Florida State. He was a good quarterback at Florida State. I'm not going to take that away from E.J. Manuel. When he was at Florida State, I liked him. Same way I like Boyd for Clemson this year. And Braxton Miller for Ohio State. But I feel like our defense is better than the Patriots. I'm sorry. Patriots is normally known for having a pretty bad defense. Do I see Fred Jackson, C.J. Spiller having success? Nah, not at all. You talked about the head-to-head series, but one of the games you bragged about was during our expansion. Was during our first season. Like, I don't know if that's really worth the brag. And by the way, if you knew my Panthers history, we had the best expansion team in NFL history. Which, yeah, you beat us, but that game in 95, Kerry Collins wasn't even starting yet. I don't think he was starting yet. I think, who started that game? I think Frank Rich, who y'all should know about, he's an important player in Buffalo history too, but not in ours. I think he was starting that game, but I know Kerry Collins wasn't starting that game because we didn't start Kerry Collins for like the first 5-6 games. So, you can brag about beating an expansion team. Okay. So yeah, y'all 4-1 though. Y'all 4-1 against us. I wouldn't say own though, but you got that right to say that. Y'all 4-1 head-to-head against us. I just don't see what way y'all can win the game. You talk about our receiving core? Look at y'all receiving core. Stevie Johnson and nobody's. In fact, Stevie Johnson didn't lead y'all team in receiving. You know who led y'all team in receiving? Fred Jackson, a running back. Come on now. Are you serious? Stevie Johnson. Stevie Johnson's a good receiver, but you was even talking bad about him in y'all in your video. You was talking about how he's not clutch and not this and not that. And I feel like Our two starting corners, they did their jobs. Sidney Rice didn't do good against us, and Golden Tate didn't hurt us. It was their slot receivers, which y'all don't have any. um, so I don't see Stevie Johnson getting off against us. Sorry. I feel like whether we stick Norman on him or we stick Captain on him, I don't think he's gonna do anything to hurt us. And EJ Mayo's not gonna have time. I mean, I'm gonna say it like I've been saying. We have one of the best front sevens in football. You don't believe it, you'll see it Sunday. Ask Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson threw 300 yards, but ask him was he or was he not running around for his Ask Seahawks fans, was he not running around for his life last Sunday? Same way EJ Mayo will be this Sunday. I mean, I feel like our two biggest weaknesses on defense, we did stuff to shore up. Defensive tackle, we drafted two of them. Starr had, I think, like 4 tackles in his debut game, and he was creating havoc. Do I know about y'all line? I don't think so. But I don't see y'all stopping our front seven. I really don't. But did y'all protect against the Patriots? I think so. I don't think the Patriots ever sacked y'all. But our front seven is better than the Patriots. Our secondary, can it use work? Yeah. But is it better? Are our players better? Yeah. Hopefully we'll have Mike Mitchell back this week. I don't know if we will. But if not, hopefully Quentin Michael will be in better shape so he can play safety the whole game because he was doing a good job. Gary Williams, to my Panther Nation, we lost Gary Williams probably for the rest of the year. Just being 100%. He tore his, I think they said he tore his ACL and his MCL. So most likely we lost him for the year. But we're okay. We had 3 guards who was ready to go last week. And hopefully we'll get Armini back soon. But so Trebell will probably play at the left, and we'll probably slide Scott over to the right. But do I feel like we're gonna win this game? Most definitely. Most definitely. I can't trust in Buffalo's defense. I don't think their offense is gonna move the ball against us. We're definitely a better defensive team than the Patriots are. I think we're 5th in points allowed. What, 12? Running the ball, I think we'll be, like I said, I think we'll be able to run the ball. And you talked about D'Angelo not having a 1,000-yard rushing season since 2008, 2009. First of all, we have a running back tandem. Okay, that means we don't have a feature back, somebody who's gonna get 1,000 yards or who's gonna rush for a crazy amount of yards. It's shared. Even last year, if you look, Cam ran for over 700 yards. D'Angelo ran for over 700 yards. So really, if you combine them two together, that's like 1,400 yards. Jonathan Stewart was hurt a good bit of last year, same way like he is this year. But I actually feel like out of the two, I like D'Angelo better. Man, ever since we had the two of them, I always try to start D'Angelo Williams. Just because D'Angelo Williams has that ability to take it on any run and go the distance. But anyway, just had to make a video in reply to BuffaloHeroes and talking about why I feel like we're going to win this game. Shout out to Wayne Diesel. I saw your video. It's pretty funny. As usual, your video is always pretty funny and entertaining to me. I'm ready for see what the rest of Panther Nation is gonna do. I ain't really seen nobody yet besides Wayne Diesel, but it's still early in the week. But anyway, this is Mr. T-Money 1993. Back with another vid, and I'm out.